You are born into it the way most people are born into a religion. Not by choice. Not by application. By address. The street where your mother brings you home from the hospital in East Los Angeles is a street where certain things are already decided. The color of the flag hanging from the corner house. The name written in block letters on the retaining wall at the end of the block. The men who stand outside the panaderia on Friday evenings, not buying anything, just standing. You grow up around all of this the way you grow up around the smell of your grandmother's kitchen. It is simply the air of the place where you are from, and you breathe it without thinking about it until the day you are old enough to think about anything at all. Your father is not in the organization. He works in a warehouse in Commerce and comes home tired and watches the game and falls asleep in the chair and does it again the next day. Your Uncle Ricky is in the organization and has been since before you were born, and the difference between your father and your Uncle Ricky is visible to you at 8 years old, even if you cannot name what it is. Your father is tired. Your Uncle Ricky is present. Your father has a warehouse. Your Uncle Ricky has a reputation. You are 8 years old and you already understand that these are different kinds of currency. You are 14 when they first notice you. Not notice you the way a teacher notices you. Notice you the way the organization notices candidates, which is the way a very old institution notices everything, which is slowly and completely and without announcing that it is paying attention. 2 older guys from the block, Lobo and Sick Boy, start including you in things. Not the serious things. The small things. Hold this. Watch that corner. Come with us. The inclusion is gradual and warm the way all recruitments are warm, because warmth is the mechanism. You feel chosen. You feel like you belong to something that belongs to you. At 16 you catch your first case. It is minor, a possession charge that gets reduced to a misdemeanor through a lawyer the organization provides, because providing lawyers is part of the structure, part of how the institution maintains loyalty in the people who are not yet old enough to have anything else worth loyal. You do 6 months in a juvenile facility and you come out and the block treats you differently. Not celebrated exactly. Acknowledged. There is a specific quality to being acknowledged by men who do not acknowledge casually, and it lands in you in a place that your father's tired nod at dinner has never reached. You are in. Not formally. But you are in. At 19 you are jumped in. The details of this are not something you describe to outsiders and will not describe here. What matters is what comes after. You are carnales now, brother, member, maid, and the word has a specific weight that the English translation does not carry. You are part of something with a history that precedes your birth by decades. A structure that has survived law enforcement, prosecutions, federal indictments, the deaths of leaders, the betrayals of snitches, the pressure that the state applies to criminal organizations with increasing sophistication and resources. It has survived all of that. And now you are part of it. Your first responsibilities are the street-level ones. Tax collection, the neighborhood businesses, the independent dealers operating in the organization's territory, the parking lots and the carnicerias and the small operations that exist on the block with the organization's permission and therefore owe the organization a percentage. This is not subtle work. This is presence and reminder and the occasional escalation when reminder is not enough. You are good at it. Not because you are violent, though you are, when you need to be, which is less often than people imagine because the reputation for violence is more efficient than the violence itself. You are good at it because you are reliable. You show up. You follow through. You do what you say you will do. These are the qualities that move people upward in any organization that requires trust. At 23 you are a shot caller for your clica. The clica is the local cell, your specific block, your corner of the territory, your 20 or 30 carnales who operate within the larger structure of the gang. Being a shot caller means decisions come to you. The disputes. The discipline. The allocation of territory and product and resources. It means you are the point of contact between your clica and the leadership above you. You sit in the middle of 2 pressures. The street below, where the actual work happens and the actual risks are taken, and the leadership above, where the actual decisions are made. This is the first moment you understand that power in this structure is not what it looked like from the outside when you were 14 watching Lobo and Sick Boy and thinking, I want that. Power from the outside looks like freedom. Power from the inside is obligation without sleep. Someone calls you at 2 in the morning because there is a problem with a payment. Someone calls you at 5 in the morning because there was a shooting 2 blocks over and you need to know if it is directed at your people before you can know how to respond. Someone needs a decision you do not want to make, and they need it before noon. You make the decisions. You sleep when you can. You understand for the first time that the weight your Uncle Ricky carries is different from what you imagined it was. The presence is real. The cost of the presence is also real. You have been arrested 3 more times. 2 of the 3 cases go away. 1 of them does not, and you do 18 months in the county and come out at 26 with more respect than you left with, because in this structure incarceration is not the interruption of your career, it is part of your career. The institution exists inside the walls as fully as it exists outside them, because the people who built the institution understood from the beginning that the walls were going to be part of the reality and planned accordingly. By 30 you are connected to the Mesa. The Mesa is the leadership council, the governing structure of the organization, the level where the specific decisions about territory and alliances and the large movements of product are made. You are not on the Mesa yet, but you are connected to it. You have a relationship with a man named Ruben who sits on the Mesa and who has been watching you for 3 years the way the organization watches candidates, which is slowly and completely. Ruben calls you. Not to your phone. The organization does not do phone calls to personal phones at this level. You receive communication through a chain of one more person, always in person, always about something specific. Ruben tells you that there is an expansion opportunity in the San Fernando Valley. A corridor that the organization has not fully controlled and which is becoming more valuable as the supply chains shift. He is asking you to go north and build the structure there. It is not a request exactly. It is the kind of offer that the organization makes when it needs something done by someone specific and has decided you are that someone. The offer is a promotion disguised as a task, which is how all promotions work in organizations that do not have human resources departments. You go north. You spend 2 years building the San Fernando operation from neighborhood relationships and old debts and the specific currency of a reputation that preceded you. You are not violent in these years. Violence is expensive, it draws attention, it disrupts operations. You are methodical. You are reliable. You are the man who makes things work the way a logistics manager makes things work, because that is what you have actually become, a logistics manager for an industry that cannot use official supply chains and must build its own. By 36 you are on the Mesa. The Mesa is a different world than the street. The men on the Mesa have, almost without exception, spent time in federal institutions. Not county. Federal. The Federal Bureau of Prisons is where the organization's senior leadership has historically convened, developed doctrine, settled disputes, and conducted the governance of an organization that spans California and extends into Arizona and Nevada and has tentacles into the supply chains that originate in Mexico. The federal institution is where the organization is most fully itself, because inside the walls is where the power dynamics are clearest and the institutional rules are most rigorously enforced. At the Mesa level you are managing money, not product. Product is for the levels below you to move. You are managing the flows, where the revenue goes, how it is cleaned, what it funds. You are managing relationships, with the Mexican cartels who supply the organization, with the corrupt officials who are available to be corrupted, with the lawyers and accountants who exist in the legitimate world and provide the interfaces between the organization's economy and the surface economy. You are managing politics, the internal disputes between cliques, the succession questions when leadership above you ages or falls to law enforcement, the alliances and the tensions. You are also managing yourself. This is the part nobody talks about. At 36, running a Mesa-level operation in the largest criminal organization in the American Southwest, the management of yourself is a full-time job alongside everything else. You have a wife who has been with you since you were 22 and who understands what you are with a specific resigned clarity. You have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, and your daughters are in private school in the valley and your son is going to play varsity football and none of them have your life and you have spent a significant portion of your organizational income ensuring that none of them will. Your children do not go to the street you grew up on. Your children do not know men named Lobo and Sick Boy. Your children live on the surface and you intend for them to stay there. This is your private contradiction and you carry it the way you carry all contradictions at this level, quietly, completely, without resolving it. At 41 the federal case opens. You know it is coming before it arrives because you have been watching for it for years. At the Mesa level, federal attention is not a possibility, it is a certainty, and the only variables are timing and how much they have. They have been building for 4 years. A combination of informants, wire intercepts, and financial forensics that has become the government's signature methodology for dismantling organizations like yours. They are very good at it. You are very good at what you do. The collision between those two facts is inevitable. You are arrested on a Tuesday morning in the driveway of your house in Northridge. Your wife watches from the doorway. Your son is still inside, asleep. The arrest is professional and clean. No drama, no violence, the specific cold efficiency of a federal arrest team that has done this many times and knows exactly what they are picking up. You are processed. You are charged under RICO, the racketeering statute that the government developed specifically to dismantle organizations like yours by treating the organization itself as the criminal rather than requiring individual charges for individual acts. It is an elegant legal instrument. You have always respected it, even as it has been the primary threat to your existence. You do not cooperate. This is a decision you made before it was a decision you had to make. The organization is built on the absolute requirement of non-cooperation. It is the foundational rule, the non-negotiable, the thing that makes everything else possible. And also, you are the organization. Cooperating against it would be cooperating against yourself, against the 22 years you have spent building it from a corner in East Los Angeles to a Mesa seat in a federal institution. You plead not guilty. You go to trial. The evidence is what it is. You are convicted on 9 counts. You are sentenced to 23 years. In the federal institution you are, for the first time in your life, the highest-ranking member of your organization in the building. And the institution is where the organization is most fully itself. So you govern. Not loudly. Not dramatically. You govern the way you have governed everything since you became a man who governs. Quietly, methodically, with the specific patience of someone who has learned that time is the resource that everything else runs on. Disputes come to you. Decisions wait for your word. The institution has its own economy and its own hierarchy and its own violence and its own peace, and you sit at the center of your organization's portion of it with the same presence your Uncle Ricky had on the block in East Los Angeles when you were 8 years old and could not yet name what you were seeing. You understand now what you were seeing. You are 51 years old, and you have been in this organization for 37 years, and you have been at every level of it, from the 14-year-old holding packages on the corner to the man sitting at the center of it in a federal institution with 23 years on your sentence and the governance of the organization running through your hands as it always has. Your son plays varsity football. Your daughters are in college. Your wife visits on Thursdays. She brings food from the restaurant you own in Northridge, legitimately, the one business that was never part of the other business, the one clean thing you built alongside everything else. On Thursday evenings in the federal institution, you eat your wife's food and you think about the street you grew up on, and the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, and the men outside the panaderia on Friday evenings. You think about your Uncle Ricky. You think, he knew. He knew what it cost, and he did it anyway, and he never said a word about the cost to anyone because that was the code, and the code was the institution, and the institution was what you were, all of it, every rank of it, from the bottom to wherever this is. You finish the food. You fold the container precisely. You set it aside. Outside the institution, the organization continues. It always continues. That is the one thing you were never wrong about.